Can the big guy be fixed? That is the question mark that a lot of fans across the border in Toronto are asking themselves when it comes to Alek Manoah. And heck, even a few West Virginia Mountaineer fans who have followed Manoah's career into the big leagues. And he did not impress whatsoever in his return yesterday. Before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page at Mountaineers Now. Give us a like and a follow over on X at the same exact handle. Yesterday, Alek Manoah returned to the big leagues. He started the year on the injured list. He was dealing with a shoulder issue. He came back, was on a AAA, or on a rehab stint in AAA, did not do well. I think he had about 5 appearances there, and for the most part, really struggled there. His last outing against the Indianapolis Indians, which is the AAA affiliate of the Pirates, he went toe for toe against one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball, and Paul Skeens. And I think in some instances he probably outpitched him outside of giving up a run and Skeens not giving up a run. That was pretty much the only difference in that game. Yariel Rodriguez goes on the injured list for the Toronto Blue Jays. They have an opening spot in their 5-man rotation, and they feel this is the chance to bring up Manoah and see if he can build off of that performance that he had against Indy. Against the Washington Nationals, he lasted 4 innings, gives up 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, struck out 6, and walked 4. Again, the reoccurring issue here with Alek is the pitch count. 92 pitches in 4 innings. That, my friends, is what you call not efficient. That is averaging 23 pitches per inning. Now, it's not very likely that guys pitch about 10 pitches per inning. That's the ultimate goal. Because if you can get through 5 innings with 50 pitches or 6 innings with 60 pitches, so on and so forth, you're going to get deeper into the game. You're not going to have to use your bullpen that much. I would say anywhere between 13 and 16 pitches is pretty average. And he's well over that. If you're averaging well over 20 pitches per inning, you're not even going to get qualified for a win if your team is up, because you're not going to get to that 5 anymore. This is something that's plagued Alek for much of his career. Now, some games he would work through it, and he'd find ways to get through some quicker innings to kind of prolong his outing. But this is, to me, his number one issue. And I don't know if this is his mindset, so I can't really necessarily speak toward that. But it just feels like he's going up there trying to strike everybody out. And at the big leagues, it's not going to happen. When he was here in Morgantown, yeah. I mean, how many guys throw as hard as he did? How many guys have a slider as nasty as he did at that level? Not very many. He was overpowering. He was intimidating. And hitters felt that. Not at the big league level. They see that this is every day for them. They see 15 Alek Manoahs and then some over the course of a month. He has to do a better job of just pitching to contact, let his defense play, and I think he's going to be fine. Is he fixable? Yes, 1,000%. And I know I sound crazy, but it's not like the guy completely forgot how to pitch. You look at some of the at-bats that he had in that game yesterday, and you could see the stuff. It plays really well. It's just trying to get guys out earlier in the count. Again, there's times where, yeah, go ahead and get the punch out. But sometimes there's going to be instances where just, hey, look for a ground ball, get a double play, get out of the damn inning, you know? And I'm not really going to blame this on Alek. I think a lot of this is on Toronto. This is on their coaching staff, their pitching coach, to figure this out, to help him figure this out. 2 years ago, he was a Cy Young finalist. So, how does he go from a Cy Young finalist to what he was a year ago, which was really bad, to that continuing over to this year? It's not that just hitters all of a sudden figured him out. It took him damn near 50 starts into his big league career before the troubles began. The mechanics, he did tweak a little bit, and I think is something that will help him moving forward. But something within the philosophy has to change. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm telling you right now, the one thing is he's got to stop worrying about striking everybody out. And again, that's not necessarily on him, that's on Toronto's coaching staff. Pitch to contact. It's okay. That's why you got 8 guys, or well, you got 7 guys behind you, and you got one behind the dish. Let them do their jobs. I don't think that it's time to panic necessarily yet. Maybe for the Blue Jays fans. I mean, you're sitting there panicking because this is the guy you picked in the first round. He was a former Cy Young finalist, and it looks like he's just completely lost it. And it doesn't look like it's ever going to come back. And I understand that. But to freak out right now at this stage of his career is ridiculous. It's one start back. Yes, the minor league rehab stint was not well either. But the encouraging sign was he did have that really strong last start against Indy. And I feel like there's more of that in there than there is not. The other thing I'll say too, and I've been saying this since the moment he was drafted, I think he's a closer. I really, really do. And sometimes this stuff happens. You come to the big leagues as a starter, you're this highly touted prospect, or at least highly regarded prospect. Seems to work out for a little while, and then all of a sudden it just doesn't anymore. Well, what are you going to do? Retire? No, you're going to try and figure out how to make it work. And if it doesn't work in the starting rotation, you can get thrown into the bullpen. And I think if this does end up happening for Alek, I think it's actually going to be better for him. He's a big guy and wants to max out every single pitch. He wants to throw the heater as hard as he can every single pitch, wants to throw the slider as hard as he can every single pitch. But you can't do that over the course of 5, 6, 7 innings. And when you're trying to strike every single person out, and I know that's not what he's trying to do. I know that's really not his approach, but it just feels as that way. When you're trying to do that, it's going to drive up that pitch count well over, 20 pitches per inning, which is what we've seen the last 2 years. Throw him in the bullpen, give him 3 hitters to face, tell him go at him, and get out of there. The opportunity for damage to happen has all of a sudden went from here to like this. There's not much there. Go get these 3 guys out. That's what I think Alek is built for. I think that's what he's more suited to do. And I think at some point we're going to see it happen. He's going to get thrown to the bullpen if these struggles continue. They don't want to do that. They want this thing as him as a starter to work out. They drafted him in the first reason to be a starting pitcher. But there's guys that have been drafted in the first round and guys that were drafted very, very high in the first round that were failed starters and turned out to be really, really good relievers and really, really good closers. It's okay. But they've got to let this play out a little bit, but not too long. There's got to be a sweet spot because if you let this ride too long, it could potentially ruin him regardless of what role he's in. So they've got to be intelligent about this and make sure they're making the right decision in terms of how long to let this thing ride. And if I'm Toronto, I'm giving him. I want to see what the next 3 outings look like. Give him 3 more starts. That's 4 starts in total. Is it the same as what we just saw yesterday for the next 3? If that's the case, then yeah, something needs to change now. There's no use in waiting because you're just throwing him out there into a situation where you basically know and it's hard to say, but it's unfortunate. You're basically knowing you're going to lose the game by rolling him out there in that role. So give him 3 more starts, see what it looks like. Look at the pitching to inning, ratio, see what the efficiency looks like, see if the walks are getting cut down, if the hard contact is getting cut down, the sliders, and this is what I mean by he's trying to strike everybody out. Fastballs up in the zone, sliders that don't or sliders that aren't breaking, that are hanging out over the middle of the plate, which was the home run that got him to that 7 mark yesterday. That was a hanging slider. Those things need to get fixed. If you eliminate hanging pitches over the middle of the plate, those things aren't happening. And I know I sound like Captain Obvious here, but I mean, maybe maybe Alek needs to change up his 2-strike approach. Guys know, hey, it's either high heater or slider down and in. And sometimes the slider is not going to break. And when it doesn't break, it's right down the pipe. Maybe go backdoor slider. Maybe go fastball down and away, fastball down and in. Paint the corners. 2-strike approaches are huge in baseball. If you have a tendency, hitters know that. You got to switch it up. So if it doesn't work out as a starter, throw him to the bullpen, see what happens. Because from the moment I was drafted, I told Chris, our co-publisher on Mountaineers now, I was like, this guy's going to have to be a closer at some point. There's no way that I could see him going out there throwing the way he does every 5th day and not having some sort of injury or not having some sort of success that meets the level of expectation of being the 10th or 11th overall pick of the draft or whatever he was. Throw him out there, say, get these 3 guys out. You can go full force with every single pitch and come out, with 18, 20 pitches. Come back, do it the next day. It can certainly happen. But I'm not quite ready to give up on Alek as a starter yet. Not quite. I'm close. But I need to see a little bit more here. These things happen. Sometimes hitters just have their days. Pitchers have their days. Let's see what this looks like for a couple more opportunities. So I'm hoping Toronto gives him those opportunities and he makes the most of them. And then we come back to this episode and say, Schuyler, what the hell are we doing? We were overreacting. We were sitting here talking about moving him to a closing role after 1 start. But to this point, this is what I'm thinking. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Between Eers. Make sure you smash that like button and give us a subscription on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. Go over to X and follow us at the same handle at Mountaineers Now. You can follow myself at Callihan_. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back for another one tomorrow morning. Take care.